Mr. Speaker, sir, you have been pleased to say many generous things about the members of this House and to my great embarrassment about me. I should like to offer you my grateful thanks, and I am sure I speak on behalf of the House also when I offer you their thanks for your kind words. It is befitting that on this occasion, when this Parliament stands at the edge of its own dissolution, there should be some valedictory references to our past. Since you have been good enough to make a reference to the work of this Parliament, I am taking the liberty of saying a few words. We have gone through during these 5 years a tremendous amount of work, and as you have said, the speeches might have covered millions of pages, large number of questions might have been asked, and altogether a vast quantity of paper might have been consumed. Yet the historian of the future will probably not pay too much attention to the number of speeches or the hours which the speeches have been taken, or to the number of questions, but rather to the deeper things that go towards the making of a nation. Here we have sat in this parliament, the sovereign authority of India, responsible for the country's governance. Surely there can be no higher responsibility or greater privilege than to be a member of this sovereign body, which is responsible for the fate of the vast number of human beings who live in this country. All of us, if not always, at any rate from time to time, must have felt this high sense of responsibility and destiny to which we had been called. We chose this system of parliamentary democracy deliberately. We close it not only because, to some extent, we had always thought on those lines previously, but because we thought it was in keeping with our own old traditions, not the old traditions as they were, but adjusted to the new conditions and new surroundings. We chose it also because we approved of its functioning in other countries, more especially the United Kingdom. So, this Parliament and the Lok Sabha became to some extent like the British Parliament and the British House of Commons in regard to our rules of procedure and methods of work. Parliamentary democracy demands many virtues. It demands, of course, ability. It demands a certain devotion to work, but it demands also a large measure of cooperation, of self discipline, of restraint. It is obvious that a house like this cannot perform any functions without a spirit of cooperation, without a large measure of restraint and self discipline in each group. Parliamentary democracy is not something which can be created in a country by some magic wand. We know very well that there are not many countries in the world where it functions successfully. I think it may be said without any partiality that it has functioned with a very large measure of success in this country. Why not so much? Because we, the members of this house, are exemplars of wisdom, but I think because of the background in our country and because our people have the spirit of democracy in them, we have to remember how stable, how deep are the foundations of this democracy that we have sought to serve and to build up in this country. Ultimately, it is on the strength and depth of these roots that we shall prosper, on the strength of character and the capacity for service, and not the number of laws that we pass. Parliamentary democracy involves peaceful methods of action, peaceful acceptance of decisions taken, and attempts to change them through peaceful ways. Again, it is no parliamentary democracy. Otherwise, it is essential that we who talk and believe in the quest of peace so much should remember that the quest of peace and the quest of democracy can only be made through methods of peace and not through any other methods. In this connection, we have to put an end, even in our thinking, to the disruptive tendencies which divide us and which tend to break up the unity of India. We have to strengthen our country by all means and lay a sound foundation for the future. May I, as the leader of the House, express my respectful thanks to all the members of this House for the great courtesy and consideration which they have shown me during these past 5 years.